Hey guys, Ian here, and in today's video I have 5 helpful tips for videographers. Now if you aren't a videographer, you're more of a stills guy or girl, don't worry, I will have a video coming out very soon, kind of similar to this, just with 5 tips for photographers. So don't worry, one of those is coming, and many other good videos such as a Tamron 17-28 lens review for Sony E-mount, as well as an Insta360 1X review. So lots of good stuff coming, so if you are looking forward to things like that, please consider subscribing and maybe even liking this video. Once you've watched it, I don't want to push you into that. If you like the video, like it. If you don't, give me a thumbs down, tell me why in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get right into this video. 5 tips for videographers. Okay, so let's kick things off here with the dreaded HDMI cable. Oh, even worse, this is a micro HDMI. Yeah, I don't like HDMI cables. I always seem to have trouble with these, but they are the best way to use field monitors, external recorders with your camera. Now, if you have something like a GH5, you're rocking a full-size HDMI and you are lucky because it's still delicate, but not as delicate as these little micro HDMIs. They are so bad. I learned that out the hard way this morning when I plugged in my field monitor to my A7 III, got a blank screen. I did some research about it. Some people said it might be to do with firmware. Upgraded the firmware to 3.10 and I still get a blank screen. So I am making a trip to the camera store tonight. If you guys have any insight on micro HDMI port problems on Sony cameras, please let me know. I would greatly appreciate it. But with that PSA out of the way, let's get into why I like this HDMI cable in particular. So as you can see, this has a 90-degree curve on it. So basically where it goes into your camera, it's curved. It doesn't come straight out and try to jab into everything. It is curved. So when you put it in here, the only problem I've had with it is on my A6500, blocks the micro USB charging ports. So that is a downside if you have a camera where it's gonna block something. Make sure you do your research, see what's above the port prior to actually doing this. But if you do want to go this way and you don't want to buy an HDMI clamp, a cage, something else to protect your HDMI cable, you just want to keep it simple, something that's already on your camera, I would really recommend this cable. It's coiled, it's nice, I really like it. Link down in the description. Anyways, the reason that it has to be a 90-degree HDMI is so that it comes out straight past where your camera strap holder is. So here, as you can see, it goes right by where this Peak Design strap is. I've recommended these so many times. I have a link to kind of a knockoff one that is the actual one I'm using here. It's basically the same thing without the brand name. I would recommend it. Anyways, you use it to clamp your HDMI. So what you do is where it's going by it, you simply wrap it around, pull it apart like this, and then on the way back, you just kind of wrap it through itself. And it's not all that difficult. Once it's in there, it's very secure. So let's just push it right through here. I can do it. I'm a little nervous in front of you guys, so just let me do it here. So as you can see, there it goes right through. And once you've got it there, boom, you pull it through. And just like that, you can tighten it, whatever you need to do. And it's kind of tied around itself. So now that HDMI cable can't come out of your camera. It doesn't matter if you bump it, it's still being held on there by that strap. It's something that's already on your camera, and I think this is a really easy fix to, well, something that you would normally need a cage or some kind of an adapter coming from here to get a clamp on here. So I really like this. Okay, so on to tip number 2, something that I've started to do. I'm using it in this video right now. See it? It's right there. Yes, I have a shotgun microphone recording straight to my H1N. Now, I think this audio sounds pretty good. As you can see back here, I have a bit of soundproofing, but nothing spectacular. And I think it sounds pretty dang good. Now, I know this is something that a lot of people probably already know and use, but I just started using it, and I know a lot of people still use lapel microphones more often. And yes, the audio quality is comparable, but for me at least, they seem to always get caught on something, rub up against my clothing, and I see use cases for them. But at the same time, if it's something like this where you're sitting in front of the camera, you're doing an interview, whatever it may be, sometimes it's better just to have overhead audio. I have it on an arm here, but you can get anything from a C-stand with a nice arm to just a tripod, something with a sandbag on the other end to hold it, just to get that that top-down audio. I do recommend using something directional like a shotgun microphone, as I've tried this with my Zoom H1N with the internal microphone, and since it's kind of omnidirectional, picks up a lot of different noise. But with this one here, it's kind of pointing straight down to me where my mouth is, so we're good. The audio sounds pretty good if you ask me, and it's just a simple way to have, well, no more wires attached to you, no more rubbing up against shirt or skin or weird noises like that. It's literally dangling above your head and it's getting the audio. Just keep it out of frame because you don't want that in frame. Okay, so next up is this guy right here, and I know what you're thinking. Ian, is that a battery grip? I'm not a fan. Still? I thought you said there was another video for stills and stuff. Yeah, I know, this is more for photography in my opinion. However, I have found myself using it in video more and more. It was kind of a coincidence. I was at a wedding doing photo and video work. Yes, I do that. The reason that I was using this was because I was doing both at once, and I was like, well, I gotta shoot some video now. I'll just keep the battery grip on that I was using for when I was doing photos. And what I found was the handheld footage that I got out of my A7 III was significantly more stable than the handheld footage I got with it without the grip. Now what I have to say about that is the more weight, the less shake. So basically this has 2 batteries in it. It also has a bigger place for you to hold on to the camera, and it adds to the weight of the camera significantly. Now if you're out on a long shoot all day, it's not the best thing, but if you're looking for stable footage, the more weight there is, the less of those micro jitters you're gonna get. So by adding something as simple as a battery grip to the bottom of your camera, you're not only improving battery life, but if you're not going to be placing it on a gimbal or something where you're going to have to take this off, I would highly recommend it, as if you're shooting any kind of video, it's going to be significantly more stable. And now this can also apply to photographers as well, because if you're shooting something with a slower exposure, there's going to be less handshake there too, because there's more weight on the bottom. Okay, on to tip number 4, and it has to do with this right here. Yes, I am looking at myself on my phone. I am using my phone as a field monitor. It's partly to do with the fact that my HDMI port is broken. However, I like this app. The Sony app is generally good now. You can control a lot of stuff. For example, shutter speed, I can crank it up here, make things look very unprofessional, as you can see that lack of motion blur. I can give you more motion blur if that's what you're after. Yeah, I didn't think so. We're gonna go back to the 1/50 because we are shooting 24p. And as you can see, we look good now. Look at that motion blur. But I did all of that from my phone. There's little to no delay. If you wanna see here for yourself, you can see the delay. And the fact that this uses NFC, I literally just tap my phone on the side of my camera and this comes up. It's actually sometimes faster than a field monitor. So with that in mind, and the fact that there's no like external 10-bit or anything with HDMI on Sony cameras, that HDMI port isn't all that useful if you have your phone. However, I do still see use cases for it, such as a brighter field monitor or an external recorder for a 422 video. However, this is a great alternative and a much more affordable one that gives you more functionality and more control. It's wireless too, so that's pretty awesome. If you're actually a photographer and you're watching this, you're in luck, because tip number 5 actually has to do with post-production and hard drives and SSDs. These things always seem to fall off my computer, and they always seem to, well, they actually survive pretty well. They're pretty durable, but I don't want to test it anymore, especially on the good old hard drive here. The SSD I'm not as worried about, but still, you don't want to be dropping these things. These things have your files in them, your video, your photos, whatever it may be. You don't want to be dropping them. So what I've done is I put some Velcro on. I just got it here from the dollar store. Just comes with the both sides of it, sticky on one side, Velcro on the other. You put one side on whatever kind of external storage you're using, the other side just on the lid of your computer there, as you can see. And just like that, you have an easy way to stick your hard drives to your computer. Now, I've seen some people do this before. Go watch their video too to learn even more tips about your camera. But anyways, just like that, they're stuck on there. They're not going anywhere, and you can basically take this anywhere. You can open your lid, and yes, you are going to need cables for these. These are not some magical wireless hard drives, but on the other hand, it's very simple just to plug them in right like, well, put it on the wrong way. It's very easy just to plug them in just like that, grab the other end, and put it into your USB port. Just like that. You're no longer going to be losing your hard drives. They're always attached there. If you have a computer with more ports, you could put some on the other side too, whatever you really need. But at the end of the day, I found this very helpful, and for any time of editing, I use this all the time now. I no longer have dangling dongles. Sounds weird. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the video today. As I said, if you liked the video, please consider hitting that thumbs up button. It helps a lot. Thank you guys so much for the 1,000 subscribers. I know it's a small milestone for most, but for me, that's a big one. And I'm so happy to have you guys here. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I love making them, and I love seeing some of the comments you guys give me that are so, everyone's enjoying these. I like doing it. You guys like them, so let's just keep this up. Let's keep this community going. And yeah, if you guys aren't subscribed already, if you guys aren't subscribed already, I'm like 4. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. That helps out a ton as well. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I will talk to you in the next one. Stay tuned. Tamron 17 to 28 first impressions video coming out soon, followed by a review. Insta360 1X. That is a cool RS camera. Thank you guys.